Okay, so I believe this was kind of a merge scene between the first scene that was coming up with depression, which was when I was 4, but something came up after that. It was when I was 6 years old. I was in my voice teacher's house in Philadelphia, and I was in a lesson. I was very young. I just actually started singing, and what I was feeling, Erica was asking me, going back, like, how does this relate to depression? And I couldn't really put my finger on it at first. I was going off of feeling, and I was looking at myself in the scene. And I said to myself, I said, why are you upset? Why are you crying? Because I was crying basically the entire scene as a 6 year old, which was happening at that time. And I said to myself, I feel stressed as a 6 year old. And I mentioned that my mother was outside. I would not allow my mother to come in the lesson. And I said, I don't know what I'm feeling. And then out of nowhere, I got this feeling in my chest and I caught my breath and I said, I felt unsafe. And it was a huge shock for me, and Erica was feeling it through the computer, and it was really intense. I started to get really anxious in my hands and in my legs, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh my god, like I started freaking out a little bit. So Erica was calming me down and helping me breathe, and then I started to cry, and it was about my mother, and I just kept talking about how I felt judged by my mother and how I felt very unsafe and pushed into being a singer when I was 6 years old. And I started to cry, started to release, I started to yawn a lot, and it felt really powerful. I think I've had about now 6 to 7 sessions with Erica of all different things, and I feel like this was like the first one where I like really was present with the feeling. There was another one before, it was my second session, which was very present, but it felt very different to me. It felt like fulfilling, and it kind of, I was allowed to feel the way I was feeling. And that was a really special moment for me and for Erica too, when we were together working on it. And we continued through that scene, kind of digging deeper and why I felt the way I felt and stuff like that. But, it was really, now that I'm here present, not in hypnosis state, I feel like I have a better picture of this experience. Erica mentioned to me, she said, well, it's about choice if you want to continue this way, or do you want to, maybe find a new purpose, a rebirth of singing, starting from the beginning, not having it all be about your mother directing you. And I never really thought of it that way. And I always knew in the back of my mind that my mother was the seed. Before this session was the seed of why I do what I do, and I couldn't get away from it. But now I have a boundary and I'm able to separate, and that's kind of what was the ending result. So that was it. Yeah.